Gamma Prime presents.
What's up, Kappa? Oh, that's what I forgot to do. Okay, last time on this, we were looking for the Transformer in this stage. That's what I was up to. I've spent way too much time looking for Transformers. And dying. That's how that sentence ends. Looking for Transformers and dying. But then we can move on to World 5 once we find... the first Transformer. Anyway, I got a pretty good idea of where it is. And by pretty good idea, I know exactly where it is because I got annoyed and ended up looking it up in Lunar Magic. So that should take care of the problem. You know, provided I don't do something stupid like just jump into this Goomba. Boink. I think it's this one that has the power-up. I want a power-up. I don't want anything else here. There we go. Mushroom. What's up, Steven? Lurking, playing Heroes of the Storm. Oh, nice. Never actually played Heroes of the Storm. I just know it's the Omni Blizzard property that wanted to be League and didn't have all the charm of Pokemon Unite. Which happens a lot. Oh, well, doesn't matter. Know where I'm going. As long as I don't dive it, like, right next to it, I should be fine. There we go. Huh. Well, this might be challenging. Gonna guess I need some sort of projectile for this to work. Or some other ability to murder things, which I don't have right now. The small ones? Yeah, that's what threw me for a loop. The big ones I entered a couple times, and that was working. The small ones, I totally didn't test. I tested a lot of them, but I must not have tested the last set of them. Because, man, I just missed those, I guess. Get my power-ups, and then we'll go take care of that thing. Something to keep in mind if the desert theme comes back and I'm looking for other Transformers. Of course, normally I wouldn't even bother getting a cape for this, but I need something to murder things down there, and it looks like the only options are cape and fire flower. I might review the VOD and see if I actually did try that, but it's very possible that's like just one I missed. Alright, cool, we got a Transformer. And that's what matters. We are done with that stage, so let's move on to the next stage. Oh yeah, that took me to the Switch Palace. Here we go. We're on to World Stone Temple Riot. Like entering the taller ones, you expected there to be somewhere that's possible, and I expect the shorter ones. Yeah, the taller one you had to enter to get the secret exit. I don't want to ditch my power-ups. I don't like having lots of power-ups entering a stage. There we go. Much more fitting. Maybe I should have looked to see what kind of level it was first before doing that. But yeah, I entered a bigger one to do that earlier. Set lives to 69 because I'm lazy. But the small ones threw me for a loop. Definitely not something you see in standard Mario World or Mario 2 or Mario Bros 2. Like even the short pipes. Oh, that dude! Not only what? I threw it through him. Yeah. Just not common, especially like the small pipes. Occasionally you'll see someone use a small pipe in this game for like a single secret. But it doesn't happen very often. You know, I should have just taken that problem head on. Applied directly to the forehead. Would have worked out a lot better. Oh, hey, that's actually a solid Reznor statue. What about Reznor statues and Booey Booey? That wasn't what I meant to do, but it was cool. Taking my shell with me. The beauty of despawns. I tell you what. Oh, that's the Reznor. I didn't even see the Reznor statue. Like it was invisible to me. Invisible Reznor. Actually, I wonder how hard it would be to do a boss where the Reznors are invisible. It's actually not all that difficult as long as you can see the platforms, I suppose. Eat fire. Oh, those are platforms that sprites can interact with. That's pretty nifty. Yeah, I don't see those very often. I understand they're a little bit jank or something. But... or maybe they don't work with SA1. I don't know. There was some reason why people don't use them very often. And this is good enough. Time to die for midways. How's so far? How are we? Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I found the transformer I was missing from last time. Got a few things done today, not as much as I would have wanted, but I got almost all the things I want to do yesterday done, so can't complain too much. There we go, get rid of the Australian bro. What's up, Zuccotti? I mean, yesterday the main thing I wanted to do was play the weird Discovery Channel game, and boy did it deliver. You know, I kind of figured it would be much more educational than it was. Like, we learned certain things about the weather, but we also learned that you know, it was the ancient Druids and Egyptians that controlled the weather using machines hidden under various world like wonders. And then, of course, Atlantis also controls the weather because it does. So that was very educational. Suddenly had the urge to shove hodgepodge up the door, so you have it out a day or two after. Oh, interesting. You might have told me about this. Which one is hodgepodge? Which, in terms of hacks, I assume? It has been a while. Frog. Didn't even look at the level title name. What's up, Matt? Yes, literally tinfoil hat conspiracies. That game was fun. I will definitely play the sequel at some point in the vaguely near future. Destiny's Path shoved together. So, oh, that one! Right, okay. I remember that. I tested the overworld for you a while ago. Hiding. From frog! Dang frogs. Nothing there. The worst part with piranha plants in SMW is you never quite know what they're gonna do. Are they gonna be some of those weird ASM heavy piranha plants, or are they just gonna be standard ones? Will they be spitting in an arc? Just, you never know with these guys. Can never trust the neutral piranha plant. Yeah, it should be cool to see that go out. You have any, like, last-minute smoke testing things you want help with, let me know. I don't know if and when I'll have another, like, stream time to do testing, if there is any substantial testing. Not to mention, of course, it's Kaizo. But I can definitely boot it up and make sure it doesn't break. Oh, thank you for the good luck, False Circus. How you doing? I did not expect that to fall. Whatever reason, it's having an issue with the autosave patch. Interesting. How are they interacting badly? That's quite odd. Wouldn't expect those two to be... Oh, hey, there's a transform on the stage, I think. The things I do for tiny collectible toys. We'll learn all about that transformer later tonight, because I don't know anything about them. Aside from, like, the ones everybody already knows about. Moderating and stars are kind of a big disappointment. You don't ever really get to use them the way you want to. Let's see if we can actually get a 1-up, though. Probably should have just died. That would have been smarter here. Yep. When you're at the borders of overworlds, the whole tile map ships a bunch for a single frame, and Mario goes weird for a frame if you're not at the border of the overworld. Interesting. That does sound kind of surprising. I wonder if autosave is taking too long and doesn't end up yielding, like, to V-blank correctly. Like, it's not expected to be interrupted or something. That'd be my first guess, but I wouldn't take my first guess to mean a whole lot. Right, there's a friggin' star here. I'm gonna roast me some frogs. Some tasty, tasty frog legs. Never actually had frog legs. I have no... You know, the star was probably how I was supposed to get the tiny toy. In retrospect. Oh well. It worked. It worked out. Probably gonna have to revert and change things up. Cannot be bothered to figure this out. That is fair. Bopping Toady Bog. Rhino Rampage. Oh man, I'm looking forward to this level. Yeah. Every once in a while. You know, with a name like Rhino Rampage, I was really expecting DK music. Or DKC music. I don't know where this is from now I think about it. This is from like an actual Mario game. I've heard this in context at some point. Let's see what else of importance have I gotten done. Got out a couple of the VODs I wanted to get done. Finally got new NSMB done completely, and that's out. I still have a little bit of work to do with the remaining 2 VODs, but at least the first one's done, and that puts me... requires me to actually finish the last one. Last 2. Well, that was short and pleasant. Ooh, there's a... because of the way it's positioned, looks like the rainbow's coming out of a pipe. Oh, that's cute. Look. No part of that was my plan. That's the pipe I went up. Shoot. Oh, they're red. Is this a red level? This is a red level, okay. The pipes are turning the frogs gay. Oh, I like it. I like it. Alright, well at least we found the secret exity place. I have to come back and, is that a red piranha plant? No. Okay. Cool. Alright, well so much for that plan. Need to find the key. E-switch is interesting. Doesn't really help me. I mean, in terms of finding a key. I found the key. Okay, that solves that problem. Yeah, I guess I would need that if I was less clever. Alright, let's do this next part properly. I did see that that has the transformer. Yeah, using Audacity to remove noise isn't great. It kind of works, but it also kind of sucks. Makes everything sound a little bit more echoey, but it's still better than the irritating periodic fan noise. Not sure I'll bother, but if I do the Inversity videos, I'll probably have to do that for those too, which is a shame because it's got such a nice aesthetic for its music. It'll be dulled a little bit because of the noise reduction. But I've learned my lesson, which is keep your computer very far away from your microphone when you're recording. One of those, I really should have known that beforehand sort of things. Goodbye, Rainbow Pipe. They're red. That's not the pipe I went up, now that I look at it. Ah. Okay, I need to be a little more careful for a moment. But glad I came back to check. Not even gonna touch those pipes. They're accursed. Cursed pipes. Bonk. This works. Definitely need that. I should put a marker down due to a decent amount of the lag I've gotten around here. I already got a marker which basically says you should probably turn on faster. I need to check if she already did. Oh, hello. 1 frame away. But yeah, most of the major accomplishments yesterday. Did the Earth Day thing, got the editing done for the secrets of the lost secrets of the rainforest, which isn't as good as the original EcoQuest, sadly. Just a bit too on the nose. There was a few bits in there that I just didn't remember, but did get to see again while editing. Like the antagonist being friends with, like, literally, like, Hitler, Mussolini, Pol Pot, and, like, John Wayne Gacy. Like, quite literally, they couldn't try to sell the... Oh, yes, and then this guy is evil anymore. Like, he just happened to have, like, all of their birthdays lying around in his day planner. Pretty silly. Saw a game on Steam the other day called Sex with Hitler World War II. That's different. Which thing? The EcoQuest 2 game. One of the antagonists, you get a hold of his like PDA at some point. And yeah, he's friends with all sorts of history's worst monsters. Because why not? Oh, that's the hell those are. Mr. Slaughter. He's a, like, fur trader in EcoQuest 2. They wanted to really drive home the point that this guy is a dick who really just wants to, like, literally rape the rainforest and take everything of possible value out. This is a kid's game, too. But yeah, the Steam game phenomenon is really weird. People like to make those weird... I'm gonna guess that's a visual novel. Because, like, it turns out it's really not that hard to make a visual novel. Like, Ren'Py makes it really easy. You don't really need to even know any Python programming to make a simple one. And so there's just people out there who like to make ones that are certainly thematically out there. And of course, the one that immediately comes to mind is Stay Stay, My First Trip to North Korea, which I did play at some point. Which is what it sounds like. It's basically a bunch of stock images of North Korea overlaid with anime girls on top. And that's what it is. It's just what it is. I think they made a couple more. They may have, in fact, made one with Hitler. I forget. One of those sorts of groups. You can, like, make one of those in a day if you want. They're pretty easy. Looked like more than a visual novel? Oh my. That wasn't what I was expecting. Is that something you can buy in the Unity store? Get the Hitler model in case you need Hitler in your game? It wouldn't surprise me, but still. Still very strange. Oh, here we are. I need to get up there. How do I get up there? I saw Bezos. Come on, Bezos. I can make this jump. That worked. Really glad I didn't need to attempt a shell jump. And really lucky that that worked. Okay, I just need to find a pit and die. Oh, yay, there's a pit. I'm dead. You don't? Good to know. Delicious Mussolini. How you doing, Dick Feynman? Yeah, today's stream has taken a strange turn for topics. But as is wont to happen sometimes. In the meantime, at least I managed to find both of the Transformers that were out there clearly hiding in plain sight in this hack. So at least I got that going for me. Nope. Okay. Alright, we're done with that level. Easy enough. But yeah, the reason I even noticed that part of the game was because when I was editing, I was editing out, or at least severely speeding up the parts where I had to transition my save files from the squiggle box to the DOS box backup that I had prepared just in case something broke horribly, and then back again. So since that part happened immediately after when I was looking at editing points, I had to stop and gawk for a moment. Okay, they're not one use only, that's good to know. That's a thwomp. You never expect your thwomps to be cylindrical. just barrel-shaped in general. Oh, these guys. I never know what does the red one do again? It's been too long. Interesting. The Thwomp is so powerful, it prevents you from moving on the conveyor belt. That's pretty powerful. Oh, even the green ones do weird shit now. Okay. I better be careful. Alright, this is a dumb thing to do, but... when you see a hole in the ceiling where a Thwomp could possibly trap you, you have to check. That's one of those, like, weird soft lock conditions that doesn't come up all that much anymore. I used to run into them periodically, but I think people just stopped making levels like that. Not sure if it's a stylistic change at this point that no one wants to do that, but it used to be more common, I feel like. That, or maybe I've gotten lazier at checking them. I just get rid of these guys. They don't need to be here. Scratch my nose. Wait, isn't this a Switch Palace? I just realized. What do I get for not paying attention for a moment? Ah, nope. Come on. Perfect. I will take a cape. Easily take the cape. Cape. Intriguing. Noted. Oh, it's these. Oh no. I wasn't good at those last time I saw them in a Gamma V hack. I'm probably not good at them now. Oh, wait. Double-sided. Or it's not double-sided, really. Yeah, he's not gonna proc again. Last second. That's all of the things. And I need to test the other midway first, so let's die by electricity. It's a simple way to die in this game. Ah. But yeah. Actually, I'm looking forward to Final Fantasy II in the near future. Let me get my JRPG fix in again. I had fun with my point-and-click adventure fix, but sometimes you just need JRPG. There's a reason you carry these things. For self-protection. Alright. Other midway. God, why am I getting this? I need to die. What's up, Time? How you doing? I am having fun. You had fun with this hack? It's a good hack so far. I'm not expecting too much to be wrong with this. This is one where it's resubmitted with minor bug fixes, so it should be good. What's that doing, Curtis? Plan on doing Isakuro? No, not right now. I get the funny feeling there's more to the Blue Switch Palace than meets the eye, if you know what I mean. I guess you can't yump off that. I don't know what that is. It shoots giant lasers, which might be a problem. I see why I have a save point now. Alright, well, it doesn't take too many hits. That's the one saving grace there. Yes! Got the yump! Very well, I admit defeat. Do not think that the blue blocks will save you, though. The Kaizo cons shall rise again! Alright, well, we got that then. Isakuro seems interesting. It's one of those, like, I had actually picked it up for moderation years ago. Was planning to do it, that's why I wrote the translation utilities. But it broke on hardware because the aiming routines he was using he was using some sort of routines to do, like, sinusoidal movement that weren't in the original game, and instead just had some bugs relating to how fast the dividers worked. And so because of that, I actually got hard-locked pretty early on in the game. And so I rejected with that. And since then, someone else picked it up, and I didn't end up returning back to it. I want to say BK picked it up, but I might be wrong. One of those, I'm certain it was one of them. I don't remember who. There's only a small list of standard moderators who were active at that point in time. And so several have come and gone since then. Okay, it's the midway, but I need to get the remaining coins. Okay, of course. Or a shock. No, yesterday during the Discovery Channel game, got a lot of mileage out of Third Wall's Aliens. You know the meme guy I'm thinking of, emote. Just because constantly the science of the game took a departure from reality to strange conspiracy theory. I'll put a marker down to note that. There's these weird dust that kicks up when they shoot fire. I don't know why. Seems like a small problem, but I guess it kind of looks fine too. I don't know. It's one of those ones I might just delete after looking at it again on the repeat. Auto-scroller. Cool, I can die now. It's the reality for Discovery. You know, the thing is, the game was released in like 94 or 95. This was before Discovery Channel really had its reputation as the channel of reality TV shows and ancient aliens and, I don't know, Shark Week. At least Shark Week's kind of okay. I don't know if that was Discovery or Learning. I'm not sure. Because actually, no, even then there was a certain amount of, like... I think The Simpsons dunked on him in one episode, probably mid to late 90s. The one where, like, Lisa gets sick and has to miss a class and doesn't end up reading The Wind in the Willows, and because her essay that she buys from Nelson is so good, they they now qualify for some sort of grant. And so a whole hullabaloo about Lisa being honest versus doing the right thing. Of course, it's the one where there's, you know, I'm learning Super Nintendo Chalmers. So a fantastic episode, if for nothing else, in the Ralph content. Now we wait. Yeah, but I'm kind of curious what happens in the sequel. Like, what insanity occurs. Oh, it doesn't matter, I need to die. Oh, hey, there's a pit. Hey, Reznor, trying to die. The impoliteness of some Reznors. That's working great. Try to die challenge. I already played that one. The, like, Kurosu Mario, or whatever it was. The one where you have to die to be able to finish the level. That was a fun hack. I have to look up what the actual one is. I don't think it's Kurosu. I think that might be a Kaizo hack. It's a Japanese word for, like, death by overwork. It's Vine time. This level is just divine. Oh. You know, think that thing hurts me? It doesn't. Oh, what a nice critter. One of those things you just don't know what to do with until you hit it. Okay. There. Oh, spinies. Everyone loves a good spiny. Shin something? That sounds right. It's weird seeing the gradient scroll like that. Kinda knew that was gonna happen. Felt very much like a DKC setup. midway. Got my fire flower. Got my duck jump. Got my just duck in general. Can I climb these? No, those are not climbable. You know, if I let either of those just work, it would have been fine. Intriguing. Crap, I thought it was gonna fall. And that one definitely fell. Okay. Cool. 2 problems solved in 1. What's up, Noah? Do you think Clamario shells in the game? I don't know. Played that hack a month ago. Kuroshi Mario was a fun one. That's the dying one then, isn't it? Yeah, it was fun. The last level was hard. I spent way too much time doing the wrong thing. I think someone reset it on me like partway through too. Since you have to like get hit by the whatever the final boss thing is like 50 times. It does take some time to start like catching up with him on loops and everything. I'd like to play more puzzle hacks like that. Those are fun. Not to mention just like non-moderation type hacks for a change. It's been too long since I last played one that was just like, I'm not testing, I'm not doing a level design contest, playthrough. Just playing a hack. Not moderating. And last time I know for a fact was the world's hardest hack, which was bad for my hands. There we go. That's exactly it. Man, that hack's older than I thought. Rauka did a video on it in 2012. Brick Bungalow. Like an airplane. The Majestic Walrus. Hey. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, look, Mario Land Critter. You know, I don't think I've ever seen anyone use a block like that. That's really cool. They have to zip back to alignment, too, because they actually become part of the background. That's funny. Just look at that. You can tell that they have to, like, go to the nearest corner. Just gonna bait them. Just having fun baiting them. Alright, done with that. One of those is probably a critter. Nope. Oh, of course there's a thing there. Yeah, that was a bad situation. A little creepy. A little creepy, but fun. Bonk. But, like, I do love the fact they can behave as any block. Like, I feel like you could make some really cool puzzly stuff with these boos. If you were so inclined. Wait, what? Okay, first off, I'm getting rid of you. Why couldn't I proc that dude earlier? How odd. Alright, well maybe that wasn't the right choice. Okay, this looks like a conventional P-switch. I'm not sure what I need this for yet. Probably important later. Ah, choices. Though, I think I could just easily get in that door without the P-switch if I felt so inclined. So that was interesting diversion. That mushroom spawn's weird. I don't know what to say about that. Let's move forward, see what's around here, because there's a lot more doors that I'm gonna have to try in a minute. That's a more standard one, because it's not zipping back to the alignment. Okay, this is one... That wasn't smart. That wasn't smart. Does remind me. Oh, I guess I'll probably do that later. Decided to, yesterday, after I was done with doing stuff, I ended up going and buying a thumb drive off Amazon. Because I want a big-ass thumb drive to interact with the Squiggle box. I'm really tired of spending like 30 minutes downloading ISOs when I want to install a game on there. I had an idea for something that I was like, oh man, if I had a way to share files between here and there, that'd be so cool. And then I realized I don't need that. I just need the ability to just have a big hard drive, a big flash drive. And so I just bought one. Did that door move? Okay, well that explains that. Don't need that door at least. That's a repeat door. I bet if I hit this, there's a hidden door above it. Yep. I am so smart. Thought you learned how to enter difficult doors. You know, I just kind of slipped. Is it shaped like a thumb? I don't believe so unless your thumb is oddly rectangular. I suppose some people who've been involved in industrial accidents might have rectangular thumbs, but I imagine the average person does not. Bonk. I know what I'm doing now. Oh right, I needed the... the door just fell off. It just fell off. Oh, I know I shouldn't laugh, but still. Oh, right, that's a fake door. So I need to do another lap because I fucked up and forgot to hit the B-switch. But I had to go and look up like what size thumb drives you can actually have that work with MS-DOS. Or at least with FAT32. So it's got a decent number of gigages, and then I can just download some of the things I want to try. And that will work a little bit better, at least. In terms of just preparation for stream and stuff. And then I can just move files a lot easier, too. I just needed to have a big thumb drive. There we go. Wait, what? Oh, no! Okay, well. Nuts. I guess I collected those at some point. Without really thinking about it. Mistakes were made. Alright, I know how to do this. There might be an item index issue then, if that's messing up. Kind of curious. Kind of curious. Yeah, it'll make one of those ideas I had a lot easier. I wanted to download this big data set from archive.org and we could mess around looking at specific parts of it. But the problem is that it was really big, and I didn't want to have to wait to download things. There we go. I think this... hey. Don't care if you're a boo or not. I'm still hitting that thing. Alright, got all 5 dragon coins. Who fucking ray? Okay. Now I have to figure out one of the many ways to exit this place. I'm literally looking at you guys. What the hell? Oh, that's different. What? Okay, well, there's a solution. Oh, what? That was weird. Because of the Boo property, huh? Very weird. Alright, well, I found one way to get out of there. Dagon dogs. Dagon dogs. don't think that's the kind of thing Gemma V would put in her hacks. Figure if anyone's gonna have a hack like that has that sort of property in it, it might just be a Nintendo-y style hack. The awkwardly, suspiciously shaped coins. Alright, so we found one way out. This other way must be the other way out. And I have an idea about how to make this work, I think. Okay, walk forward. I think that might have been too much forward. Nope, it was fine. It's all new! It also highly reminds me of that one bit of... Oh, that's one of the aggressive ones. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Oh, mistakes were made. Well, I need to try this door anyway. We'll go back and try the other one. Shortly. May as well relax a sec. But yeah, other problem, of course, is that the hard drive is actually filling up. It's only a 16 gigabyte one. And every time I install something, it ends up, dropping a bunch of crap on the hard drive, in addition to just having the ISOs around. And I need to delete more of them and clean up things from, other projects. There's no reason for me to keep the Encarta 94 disc on there anymore, but... Still. I gotta go a little bit further. That was a lot a bit further. Oh, that's the correct solution. Just stand in the correct spot. It's kind of amazing how far things have come since then. Back when I had to worry a lot more about hard drive sizes. Something I basically never do anymore. That was stupid. I guess actually, no, I do occasionally have to worry because I don't delete. Because of all my old captures now. Every time I capture a stream, it's like 8 gigabytes of space. So I suppose I should at least worry a little bit on that front. Because I've considered trying to, go with a slightly higher quality archival copy. Because right now I record exactly what I send to Twitch. But with OBS, it's possible to kind of have different settings for those. Given how my setup works, I can kind of get away with that sort of thing. Oh, man, I do not know why that entryway is giving me so much trouble. Okay, I'm not going to get jammed. I'm looking at you. Oh, my opera's being jammed up by this one boo. Okay. This seems important. Spider out of nowhere. Bonk. You never expect a spider to drop on your face. This is a general rule. Ugh. What the exit I'm up to? Well, that's one way to do that part correctly. I want to try... That's a fake door. Duly noted. Was the other door over here fake, or was it just annoying? See, now I can see it. Oh, come on! Never expects the Spanish Inquisition. No. Nobody ever expects them. Oh, man. Oh, Monty Python. It is kind of amazing how much mileage nerds got out of those, 3 jokes. Even that bit in The Simpsons where, and we can recite the words to every Monty Python sketch in existence. Nee, etc. Spider's not my friend. P-switch... What? No! I chose... Oh, wait, no, did I choose poorly? I don't think I chose poorly. Doom, doom. What? What am I even fighting? Oh, that's what I'm fighting. You know, I've gotten so used to actual bosses, I kind of forgot that that was a thing for a sec. Fighting death itself. Oh, maybe. Let's see if this takes me somewhere different. It's the same end level setup as the other one, but... Your father was a woman. Ah, man, I don't remember that one. I forget what it was. It was like something along the lines of, and your father smelled of elderberries. Something like that. One of the French insults in Holy Grail. Holy Grail has a lot of good bits. I built this castle on a swamp, and that one sunk into the swamp. We built another one, and that one sunk into the swamp. We built a third one, and that one burned down, and then sank into the swamp. But the fourth one, our fourth castle will last forever. There was like one door I was curious about in all of this nonsense, and then I can rest easy. Was this a fake door? No, but it took me back here. Okay, we're done. Pilates asking if Brian's father was a Roman. Ah, oh, right. Mother was a hamster and your father, yes, okay. Huge tracts of land. I'm actually not sure what I got in there this time. I just let it pick whatever while I binge Transformers animated. Alright, Fire Flower it is. Off we go. Yeah, the lisp he has in that is truly fantastic. See, I like how these are made of spiky blocks, so I know they will murder me if I land on them. Boing. Boing. Oh, wait a second. Much better. Those are not spin jumpable. Those are not hittable with your headable. Important things to know when trying to fight critters. How you can actually fight them. That didn't help at all. I made it worse. Kinda saw that one coming. Oh, I can hit those? Trying to decide how much I care. Probably should go and get a Fire Flower so I can kill the ones in the pots so that I can see if they have any hidden paths. But I'm gonna guess the level might just take care of it for me. Oh, never mind, here's a midway. Okay, I'll have to go back and hit those blocks at the beginning. Won't take too long on the way back. There's also that bit in there where it's like, no biggest, dickus, and all that. Apparently the Roman guards weren't told, the actors for the Roman guards weren't actually told what was going to happen in that scene, and so their reactions are actually quite legitimate. They were told not to laugh. Go. No. Alright, now I need to die. I shall die by standing on this platform. It's a good way to die. Well, it's not a good way to die, I guess. I'll stand here, inside of this potted plant. I want the Fire Flower. Oh. Guess in terms of other British comedy, I ended up watching a little bit of Top Gear today. It's the one where they planted the wrong kind of rapeseed, which they were going to use to make petrol, but unfortunately it was apparently diesel quality seed. I don't really understand the exact way that works, but they screwed up, and so they did an endurance race to burn off all of their excess diesel. It's a fun episode. It's kind of what I was hoping that... Did I see a pipe over there? It's awfully flush. Can I get in there? Maybe with P-speed. Yeah, I don't think this pipe is going to be anything I care about. Blink. Okay, then I need to do the midway testing, which isn't going to matter because there's no pits in this level. I'm actually a bit surprised how anticlimactically it ends. I seem to recall there was more to it, but it just kind of ends after they get past the finish line. But it's an endurance race, so it's not really the finish line. I don't know. Alright, who are we fighting? Roy. Aha! Those are much more dangerous than I was expecting. And Fire Flower is so nice to have when the bosses actually take damage from it. Well, that was weird. Did that sound weird, or did the music play correctly? I couldn't hear it well enough. It sounded like it was busted, but I'll have to just double check. I was not certain. I'm still not certain. Part of the problem of having the audio on solo is some of those fanfare themes are really quiet. Down here. Get down on it. Alright, I think that was the only other one I needed to hit before I realized those were a hittable object. Yeah, this is the one I hit. Okay, cool. We'll go back. We'll go a little bit further just to be sure. Yeah, that was the last one. So your father was a Roman? Yes, what was his name? Nautius Maximus. Ha! Something the matter now. It's a joke name, like Biggest Dickus. I have a really good friend back in Rome named Biggest Dickus. Yep. As a wife, you know. I kind of figured it'd be in the same scene. Sus Shrooms, oh no. I don't... yep. Those explode. You know what? Could you just get over there with the exploding ones? Thank you. If you could just get in line with the exploding mushrooms, that'd really be a great help. These fire flowers work on these. And shells. Shells also work on them. You know, I didn't see that coming. I feel quite silly. Oh, cool, you get stars out of those. So rare that I actually bother trying. Like, 9 times out of 10, you get nothing out of blue blocks. It's a nice change. I really appreciate it. Also, apparently my counter de-incremented at some point, which is weird. Given I probably wasn't supposed to actually have a star there, I don't think I care that much. There was another sketch of those, of Python I had to watch for a bit because of puzzle reasons a while ago. It was the Chocolate Frog sketch. About this, like, candy company that makes terrible, terrible products. Including, but not limited to, an actual frog in their chocolate. I think that'll do it, won't it? Eh, it's a little bit too late. Ah, that's not gonna work either. I mean, if they've all exploded... I legit don't know if those things behave like ball bombs. I never tried jumping on them. Well, I need to die and I want to collect the coin. But I do also want to try to get in here legitimately. That might have been it, using the bouncing one and trying to manipulate it correctly. We'll kill two birds with one stone. Lark's vomit, yep. Oh, right. I lose cohesion with everything. That didn't help. Mistakes were made. Okay. Very silly sketch. You know, I thought it would help. It just didn't. Alright, well, let's at least go collect that one, and then we can backtrack once we figure this one out. Oh, they both went the wrong way. Well, that sucks. This is tricky. Not a tricky level to beat, just a tricky level to get that one dragon coin in. Alright. Let's be smarter. Maybe. Maybe. Oh, that worked. Alright, now we can work backwards. We can try to work backwards. You know, if I just stood around, that would just explode for me. Right, that's not a real one. Don't even think about it. No smartness allowed. I think what I'm going to do is beat the level, and then we'll come back and get the coins on the back path, because at least I see a mechanism there. The problem is, if I fuck it up, I have to do it all again. And going backwards through this area is going to be painful. Wait, that's also a mushroom. Don't jump on the mushroom. We're learning here. Slowly, but we're learning. One thing I learned, I probably should have done that in a different order last time. That does not blow them up. That also does not blow them up. Man, we don't even hit any of them. And I took out the wrong one. That one might do it, though. Yep, okay, we have a consistent solution now, which is hit that block and stand to the left. So that'll make it easy next time. Yeah, exploding shrooms is not what you expect. Why is there a dragon coin sign there? I guess that probably tells you, like, that you need the dragon coins to do something in the level, maybe? It sounds vaguely familiar from earlier. All the dragon coins were easily visible in this level, so I don't need to do too much ridiculous stuff. And there were no pipes that did anything. You know what? Did I screw this up? When I said they were all visible, I think I expected more. But I mean, I already got 4 dragon coins. This will be the 5th one up here. Huh. I have definitely done it wrong. I wonder what that means. That isn't consistent. How odd. Good thing I didn't bank on it. Alright, there's also that option. I can bounce on them and move through really quick. Alright, let's try that again. So much for easily visible. Apparently I'm just blind. I don't remember there being any pipes in this level. But I'm not ultimately surprised. I'm gonna check to see how many exits I had. Okay, there's one. I don't know why I bothered. Especially because the reward is this. Okay. Oh, right, they're in blocks. That's why. Like, there's one, like, right here. Completely forgot that was a thing for, like, 5 seconds. No, you can have that one. Yeah, no, I'm not getting the power. I'm not getting the star this time. In fact, I'm pretty sure the next... Oh, never mind. There's 3. Probably in these blocks. One of these blocks here. Nope. One of these blocks, then. There we go. I am not good at explodey levels in Gamma V hacks, is I think what the main lesson here. Right, that class does not explode. That works. Now level complete. Beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, we take those. We take them. Just looking at something really quick. Okay, 2 exits with the coin symbol. I've definitely seen the coin symbol before, but I don't think I ever figured out what the hell it meant. It's an odd song. Thank you for the GG. That whistle sounds bad. I wonder if that's just on my side. But that whistle just sounds bizarre. Alright. Goodbye, Rexes. We're starting to sound vaguely familiar. But I don't... I'm still drawing a blank. Stardew Valley? Like, the whistle doesn't sound familiar. But there's a bit in there that does sound a bit like the Wake Up You Sleepyhead song. But this does sound vaguely pastoral. I'd take Stardew. I believe it. I mean, in the sense that I don't have anything else to reason to believe right now. You're not getting me this time, Yellow Rex. But don't take my word for it. Now, I mean, if I honestly want to know, worst comes to worst, I can always just ask Gamma V. But I don't think it's all that important in the grand scheme of things. It's a curious song. Gonna go out on a limb here. You know, I try to avoid going out on limbs. They're not very stable. You know, I probably shouldn't have tried to do that twice. Once was pushing my luck. With that totally planned and reasonable maneuver. Do like the good old pipe wrecks. Let's explore after the boundary for some refreshing times. Either way, it's done. Short level. I was going to look up how many exits I was at. 56. Okay, so we've gotten like 13 done. Wait. Level had 2 exits. Where? Also a dragon coin sign, but I still don't know what's up with that. Like, clearly there might be something up in the sky. It'd be kind of weird to have a required flying bit if the level itself doesn't provide a cape, but it's still possible. Gotta stop doing that. 40% done with the hack? I thought it was a bit more than that. I mean, it has, what, 103 exits? Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah. I'm like 50% done, kind of. 50%-ish. Hey. But of course, exits as a number doesn't tell the whole story. Very odd, though. Counting the final few levels in Possible Star World with a heavier weight. It's possible. It's a Gemma V-hack, though. The overall difficulty ceiling won't ever be too high. My suspicion is I'll probably waste more time trying to find secret exits than it actually takes beating the final levels. I was about to say this area looks kind of suspicious, but then, no, that's where the dragon coin was. That one lone coin is suspicious to me. I guess it's just telling you, like, it's a mildly safe place to stand. Very suspicious. Oh, I just missed a pipe. All there was to it. Well, since that just takes me further along in the world, we'll catch up to that one when we get there. Didn't see if it had a transformer or not. No. Oh, bomb throwing moles are one of my least favorite things. I want to keep the fire flower, though. Better for blasting moles. And then I started blasting. Though I've not actually seen all that much of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's probably okay, though. It's probably okay. I don't want to spend that much time watching a TV show, in general. I'm lazy in that respect, which sounds really silly. Come on, moles, leave me alone. That's weird. It's a little weird there. Make a marker. That tile extends funny. Like, I fully expect to just accept the hack as is, but I always go through the due diligence. Reporting anything I find. In case there's, like, another point release later. Wait, was this where I came in? No, okay. It was the middle of these pipes. Yes, okay. Like, I kind of wonder how much time I burnt trying to find the transformer in the one that used the really short, weird Mario 2 pipe as its mechanism of hiding that specific object. Alright, everything's fine down here. Pipe, pipe. 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 It was like Artie, the world's strongest man, and that was his catchphrase, pipe. Pete and Pete was a weird show. Okay. Cool. All coins accounted for. Moonwalk into the pit. It's the way you gotta go. Yeah, depending on how much of this I get done, I might do another stream tomorrow. Because I like to get this finished up before I go do my California traveling. Because there's an awful lot of stuff I can do. I have the option to stream since I got my brother's basement. I can... The Ganthanator. You know, I haven't watched Pete and Pete in a long time, so that's a reference to Pete and Pete. It is lost on me. Unfortunately. And there were so many weird characters. Like Mr. Frosty. Even saw some people like putting up the "Where is Mr. Frosty" signs a couple years ago. Yeah. Might stream tomorrow to get this done. If I'm not closer. Depends on how long this takes, like I said. And I got started later than I really should have today. Was kind of hoping I'd get started around midnight, but then I got distracted by things and stoof. As it happens. You know, I kind of missed an important thing there. Never played StarCraft 2. A bit back around when it got released. And then I came back for the Zerg campaign. And I never got around to playing the Protoss one. So it's A, been a long time, and B, I don't remember that much about it. Never got into multiplayer StarCraft. I was always rubbish at it. And the few opportunities I had to learn were with a group of people. Really just like 8 Koreans, and then a dude had been playing StarCraft for like 15 years. Did not work well for me. Basically, no matter how we partitioned teams, I lost. And so after a while, I'm like, yeah, this is fun and all, but I think I'll leave you guys to actually being good at the game and go home. Oh, StarCraft 1. Oh, that's even longer ago. Crap, I read that as 2. No, that was also StarCraft 1, actually. No, I was rubbish at StarCraft 1 as well. You know, I think I might have never actually finished the campaign of StarCraft 1. I forget. Maybe the OG StarCraft 1, but not like, not Brood War. I don't think I finished that Brood War. It's also been a long time. Perhaps a longer time. One of those things I probably wouldn't mind revisiting, just because, like, it could be fun. You know, since I was playing, like, FMV games with silly actors and stuff yesterday, doing an FMV game, you know, that's actually a good FMV game could be fun. I guess StarCraft isn't one of those. But, like, one of the Command & Conquer games where, like, Tim Curry goes, I'm going to go to the one place untainted by capitalism. Space! Would be fun. Would be a lot of fun. It's so good. You can even see that he's getting cracking up at the ridiculousness of this line he has to read. It's so good. But yeah, RTSs are fun. I just don't play them very often because I'm not good enough to play like multiplayer. Nor do I have interest in learning to be good enough to play multiplayer. That worked. It shouldn't have worked, but it worked. Stream dead? I don't think so. Still up over here. Check my phone. Actually, no, it'd take forever. Yeah, that's smart. But I'm definitely seeing it on the Echo thing, because I always keep the dashboard to my left so I can see when it fails. Usually when it fails. It's a fun track. I know it from that one level in one of the newer Mario games where you have like what was like the cloning cherries? Those are a fun little power-up. Nope, didn't think that one through. Brilliant plan, Pat. Run it in with the shell. These things are so cool. Pausing, unpausing. Yeah, I've had that help too in the past. Twitch's player has been better recently for me. Like, it used to be really bad, but it's gotten better, and I suspect an awful lot of that is because I bought Twitch Turbo. As much as it sucks to have to buy something to make their product nominally usable. But that's Twitch for you. Stupid ads. Still disappointed they didn't take away. They took away my options to not run them. How you doing, Vintage? We're just complaining about Twitch, which happens so very frequently. And admiring these blocks. I really love these spinny blocks. It is so good. What is that, like, MD Battle Frog used a bunch of them in one of their hacks? It was really cool. Yep. Ads. They're amazing. Good, just woke up? Nice. Oh, what the heck? How do you want it? Afterlife. Okay, it's one of these things, I guess? Is this an NPC I can talk to? I don't know what to read into this. I'm torn between, like, some sort of martial arts boo, and he's a sushi chef boo. I don't know. Guess I pick left first. Oh, the ad thing's busted. Fuck. Now let me kill this guy, and then we'll fix it. Oh, never mind. It fixed itself. Cool. I don't know why. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for it to kind of rig itself up. Okay, these fire things are targeting, so I need to be careful around them. Nothing there. No reason to go either way, actually. My theory was if I kept it on screen, another one wouldn't spawn. I don't know how good that theory is, though. Alright, well... Can't escape. Wanted to escape. Can't escape level. How do you feel? I still feel pretty good. I feel like I'm gonna have to beat this level like 4 times. I had something I wanted to do with the ad bot that I've been putting off. I finally went and got all my, like, it had been forever since I actually had sunk up my GitHub repos, which is why the overlay now looks mildly better than it did last time. The problem I had last time was that I hadn't uploaded the changes to... Basically, I just set overflow somewhere specific for the hack name. And it... Or not the hack name. I changed overflow on the body so it doesn't actually spawn a scroll bar. And that's why it's not stretching weirdly and more ugly. It's still not completely right. Like, I basically would like to change it so... Instead of what it's doing, it just takes up the remaining space. But I'm not that good at CSS. And I don't want to spend that much time learning. And like, I went to look for a solution on Stack Overflow, and it's like, well, now using the Lightbox model, and I'm like, I don't know what the Lightbox model is, and man, I don't care enough to find out. So I'm just gonna assume I need to do this one twice. It's a floating new boss! These things happen. That works. Had a thought? Because you can see at the bottom, it cuts off the shitpost thing a little bit. How do you think much CSS uses. Not sure what to think about that, actually. I think CSS uses. I mean, very little? I feel like the implementation for CSS would mostly be done in C if I had to make a guess. This is definitely a new path, because I would remember this boo from last time. Oh, okay, this is actually the same level geometry, just different obstacles. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I think I liked the other side better. Joke being, CSS also stands for Coffee Stain Studio. Would not have guessed that. Alright, I need to die after doing this. I think the dragon coin was over here. If there were 2 dragon coins, maybe. This one's going to take some irritating amount of finding. Because there's 1 dragon coin hiding behind this guy. There was nothing of value in any of these boxes. There's another dragon coin hidden behind this guy, I'm pretty sure. Or regardless, we just really want him to move. Alright, so that's multiple dragon coins. That's 4 dragon coins. I still need to die to test it. Nope, I'm still missing one. Alright, I need to get out of here for testing purposes. Once again, Goat Sim and Satisfactory. Probably other games you haven't played. Stanley Parable 2. I mean, that's a lot of things to be known for. That seems ridiculous. Are you sure they're not like the publisher? And not the actual dev studio? Yeah, I don't think this side has dragon coins. Yeah, this side does not have dragon coins. So, clearly to get the dragon coins, I need to go right then left. Or, I guess I haven't been doing due diligence here. For that reason. Okay, none of this was one way. I can pull this off. Okay, maybe parts of this are one way, but very selectively one way. Okay, there we go. Back to the beginning with me. It's the very best place to start. Nope. Not today, weird boos. Not today. Alright, so here's what we'll do. We'll go through, test the other one, kill the boss, and then get the dragon coins. Oh, which thing? Oh, sorry, I'm trying to get all the dragon coins. The thing I was saying about the studio is it sounds like that. I swear that's an awful lot for one studio to do if it's a small indie dev studio. I thought that there were multiple team. Not unsurprising if they were a publisher rather than a developer was what I was saying, but I don't think it's a humongous like distinction here. Oh yeah, it's gonna do that. Just when the boost decides to kamikaze you. Okay, so now do this. Oh, the name makes sense now. It's a 2-pack reference, wasn't it? I get it. Okay. So now we have to go find all Z Dragon coins. That might have been the one I missed last time. I need 3 from this area, I suspect. I suspect. I'm gonna guess I just didn't bother going and doing this. I was like, oh, it's the same geometry. Yep. Just because it looks the same. Think of Coffee Stain Publishing? They've also been around. Well, that all makes sense now. Yeah, I still haven't actually played the Stanley Parable. I probably should. I've heard it's really good. Played a game, a Minecraft level based upon it for Mystery Hunt once. But we didn't actually solve the Stanley Parable part of the puzzle. Me and Squiggles sat down and started reverse engineering the circuits. And we found a way to escape not only the sandbox that's supposed to set us up in, but the anti-cheat thing too, with a very elegant one-torch solution. I was very proud of that. Alright, we're done here in this level. Ditpol's Valheim, and A Story About My Uncle, and DRG. That one sounds like they've done some hits. No, I didn't look to see if there was any transformery objects in this. My understanding is there are 16 transformers in whole. So I do need to be on the lookout. I mean, I suspect there's an awful lot more than 16 Transformers. They definitely would have wanted to sell more toys than that. But there are 16 Transformers in this particular hack. You know, I'm surprised I managed to grab the shell without destroying it like I just did. But that was cool. Dev'd Satisfactory, Goat Sim, Sanctum, in-house. Okay, well, damn. That's still pretty impressive. I'm surprised Goat Sim and Satisfactory are the same people. Not what I would have expected. For some reason, I thought Goat Sim was like a weird intern project that they initially put people on so they'd learn how to code Unity, and they liked it enough that they ended up publishing it, was what the story I vaguely heard. But for some reason, in my mind, it was Double Fine that did that. Clearly not the case. Oh, DuckTales music. The Cave DuckTales music, as I now recall. I'm actually have DuckTales out of spin. It's been a long time. I've played it on stream. It's a good game. Come on. Nope. I only got 4. Oh, that sucks. 4 years into their life cycle as a studio? Huh. Well, I'm out in the open. I could pull this off. Used to do this a lot more back in the day when moderating. If I screwed it up, I'd go back and just start over at the beginning. Or not even start over at the beginning, just do this. I think I later realized this takes a lot more time and effort, and most levels are really hard to traverse backwards. Like, most people just don't say, you know what's really cool? Going through my levels backwards. Why don't you just try doing that, Pat? Yeah, it doesn't happen that often unless people actually make backwards levels. And the engine really doesn't want you making a backwards level anyway. So, like, spawns do not work as consistently moving left to right as they do right to left. Just the game doesn't really think much of it. I think there's only a few instances in the game, the base vanilla game at all, where it expects you to go left to right, or right to left on a newly loaded level. Like maybe 2 or 3 small bonus areas or something. Backwards Mario World, you'd think that. And for the ISO Freeze version, it'd be right. Whereas the version that Backwards Mario World, the is it Sweet Dude? No, West Slasher hack, is in fact not entirely backwards. That one was fun. That's a Kaizo hack I beat. It was hard. Especially because I hadn't learned much in the way of, like, useful shell tech. But, got it done. But yeah, I think West Slasher actually came in and was like, no, here's how you do this, Pat. Here's how you deal with a specific type of shell jump. I'm like, oh, that's how you do it. I've already tested the midway, so I can leave. People used to watch on a semi-often basis as a warm-up. Yeah, it isn't very long. My understanding is people didn't like running it too much because you had the problem of, you had to do the Bowser fight first. And the Bowser fight was just kind of a drag. Also the final boss. The final boss was also painful. That fast fry guy. I eventually came to the conclusion that the best way to fight the fry guy was to avoid it entirely and just try to stun lock it with as many blocks as possible in the shortest period of time. Okay, so yeah, nothing here. I'm curious why there's coins on that. But yeah, no, BooPac Shakurs. There we go. So it was a 2-pack reference. All right, there's a transformer in this level. I need to keep my eyes peeled for it. Transmorphers. The Sketchy Dollars Store Edition. I think Transmorphers was like one of those weird pirate bad movies. It was somewhat entertaining. Not sure it was any good, but you know, bad movies don't have to be good. Troll 2 sure as hell is not a good movie, but it's still funny. They ate her! Then they're gonna eat me! Oh my god! Etc. That's really the best line in the movie that's not, you can't piss on hospitality. Cave Story vibes? Huh. It's been a long time since I played Cave Story. It has a very unique aesthetic. I'm not sure why I thought that wouldn't be a problem. Let's see. You know what? I actually think this background might be just a vanilla composition. Like the hills, I think it's like a VLDC style. Like you're mixing up the starry background you'd get in Star World with the hills from an earlier thing. You get yourself a nice like 2-layer parallax going on. Oh, maybe the clouds. Cave Story had a very unique cloud aesthetic, now that I recall. No! God, moles. Oh, that's fine. I need to die anyway. Multiplayer mod for it now? Oh, really? That's kind of cool. Clouds and sky? Okay. Yeah, I think the stars might actually just be legit from base vanilla, just with some recoloring and relayering. This is the kind of thing I think you could pull off in a VLDC level if you really wanted to. Conceptually, I'm not saying you specifically. Not the mountains. Leave me a link. Okay. Now, the really cool thing I've seen from Cave Story is I want to say someone like ported it to the Genesis a while ago. And that's pretty dang cool. Like, when the people make, like, proper demakes. I managed to go past the flag without actually proccing it. Everything makes more sense now. Yeah, I was also suggesting that Desi should try out the Mist demake. A little bit of shitposting, but also because, like, there is, in fact, a Apple II core for the Mister. And there is a demake of Mist for Apple II, which I think is pretty cool in the grand scheme of things. But I don't think it'd be an ideal way to enjoy Mist for a first-time player. Alright, well... So, here's what happened here. Reached the end of the level, but I haven't found the Transformer. Okay, it doesn't scroll up, I don't think. It's possible I just missed a spot somewhere. Missed a pipe to try. Oh, it feels like a place where I'd have to hit it with a pipe. That might be the pipe I missed. My due diligence is crap today. Oh, I have to get back out. Yeah, I know Desi had fun with the Final Fantasy VII remake. But part of that, of course, is having familiarity with the source material helps a lot when you're playing something weird like that. This is terrible. Okay, there we go. Problem solved. But if you couldn't get, like, the Mac OS core, or whatever it is, like Apple Lisa or something core to work, like, Myst was ported to every CD-based console. So you got, like, your Saturn, your PlayStation. I think Sega CD as well. Like, I'm trying to think of any other console that might have not had it. I think it even went down to Sega CD, 3DO. All hail Megatron. Okay. Well, I, for one, welcome our new overlords. There's probably some downside here I haven't completely thought through, but, you know, in general, let the giant robot do whatever the hell the giant robot wants to do. Ain't like I'm going to be able to stop him anyway. Probably should have looked at the level name and or seen whether or not there was a transformer in it. Peace through tyranny. Yeah. Missiles haven't worked. Apple II Demake is also doing Another World. Oh man, that's a challenge for Apple II. Like, Another World is a really cool game in terms of how its tech internally works. But you have to be able to do fast copies or fast fills. And I don't think the Apple II does much of those either, so I'm curious what its solution's going to be. The 6502 natively, I don't think has any, like, stuff built in to make it faster and easier to copy, but, like, Apple II has all sorts of crazy hack stuff going on, so it wouldn't surprise me if there's something I'm just unaware of, because I'm not that keyed into the world of Apple II hacking. See, someone read the manifest of every single one of your stars. Yep. I can't win against these moles. I don't have any mole-killing tools. This was not a smart move on my part. Well, dang. I've also made it really hard to get into this dang pipe. I've never actually played Stellaris, but the only thing I really know about it was from seeing someone make, like, a silly video. Was that the same pipe? That's the same pipe. Okay. New plan. First we go and get some tools. Then I have to come back to, no, that probably has the dragon coin in it, though. See if we can find us a power-up. Found a dragon coin. That's like a power-up. Okay, gotta be careful here to get the power-up, but not hit the flag. In case it's not the transformer in there, and it's a dragon coin, then we're set. Yep, that one. Exactly, that one. It's a very entertaining song. Dragon coin it was! Cool, now we can test the midway and get out of here. Well, I'm certain when the Apple II remake of Another World comes out, what's his name? Fabian, the guy who's done, like, source code analysis of every port of Another World, will have to publish a article about it, and it will be interesting, I'm certain. Though, I do have some problems with his other article. Like, he did one on the SNES port, and the gal who did that, Burger Becky, some of the things in there didn't line up in terms of, like, time. Mentioned that, like, wanted to use the Super FX chip, had a copy of Star Fox and pried it off, and that doesn't make sense given Another World came out before Star Fox. Dang it. I wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt, but still. An odd detail. There, I think I'll just let the fire go.
Let's find some nasty slimy ugly alien to fill cells no multi-uteshi stories about it. Phone home, let's learn to love our neighbors like the Christians land in the we no we ought to hate them. Self-defense to use.
Yep. this Monty Mole in armor. I love it. Look at this thing. He's awesome. I think he deserves a whole hack for himself. It's weird hearing Miku try to do that, since there's no sign or cadence to it. But alright, we took out Armor Mole. Peace through tyranny, indeed. And there was not, in fact, a Transformer hidden in there, so that's good, I'm done with that level. You're making me high. Megatron incarnate. True that. Vertical level Ho. Boing. This track sounds so familiar. Should know this one. Oh yeah, this is Final Fantasy V. That's why I know it. It's like the one of the first dungeons themes. I think it's one of the mountain themes you end up going through near the beginning of the game. Missing a bit of embellishment, oddly enough. But very recognizable. Something could be in PMD or Minish Cap. I could see it. But no, I'm certain this is Final Fantasy V. If there's any game I've played enough of on stream, it's Final Fantasy V. I'm very certain of this. No. Goodbye, Shell. You've served us well. I'm digging this. This is a nice level. Admittedly, I'm a bit of a sucker for vertical levels, but still. Does remind me, Fiesta Time's coming up soon. Like in June. To see what if Squiggles wants to go and do something, or we can come up with some sort of weird-ass challenge run. You know, the thing is, while I do want the star, I also want to die. But it turns out there's not a lot of easy sources of death up here. Gonna miss the cape, though. Okay. If I stand right here. There we go. Maybe one of these... Maybe it'll be... Actually, you know what? That's not the worst... Actually, that's a decent idea. Like, we choose each other's teams. That can be kind of fun. I don't know, we pretty much run the well dry on, like, weird options that we could do that were kind of hilarious. Switch to the worst job was fun. Switch to the better job was also kind of silly. But... there we go. Just for the fun of it. Doesn't really hurt much since we're already at the end of the level. Presumably at the end of the level. You know, what if these clouds came out of... Oh no, that probably didn't come out of Commander Keen. Commander Keen has different looking clouds. Some angrier, some happier. That remains an area that I want to, like, take a Saturday and explore, like, Commander Keen mods. I feel like there's a bunch of different modding communities that produced some really cool stuff, and I just don't even know and not anything about it. Outside of, like, the really big ones. This one has a Transformer. Like, I recently finally learned how to run Doom mods. The stationary balloon will pop as soon as you jump off of them. Or stationary balloons will pop as soon as you jump off of them. Okay. That's mildly annoying that it's flashing there, but I don't think that that's an easy thing to fix. Got it. I understand the gimmick of this stage now. Whoop. And then it's this gimmick. Notice how I'm not even holding the balloon! Duck jumping is truly a fun thing to do. Yeah, I don't know why I'd want the descending balloons. That just seems silly. Modded Breath of the Wild, it's called Second Wind. Is that a real thing, or is that the name of the game coming out, like, soon? Like, hilariously soon. There's something here. No, I got suckered! Oh, I got suckered. I didn't do it in the right order. Switch mods seem like they could be kind of cool, but you have to, like, never put your Switch online ever again, which kind of sucks. I do have a moddable Switch. I bought it early enough that I can do that, but I don't know if I want to do that unless I, like, buy another one or something. I don't really want to buy a second Switch. So, stick with modding older consoles and doing other silly things. At least last weekend, I spent some time getting the Wii U jailbreak on. So it works well enough I could run a homebrew thing, and then I was like, yeah, that's enough for today. So maybe next time I'm going to learn how to actually do things properly with that mechanic. I still think there has to be something up there. We'll come back to that. Handmade that overhauls a lot. Oh, okay. That's cool. Does it, fix weapon destruction? Because I remember that being, like, the one thing people really didn't care much for in Breath of the Wild. Was, like, you'd get a good weapon, and then it had, like, weapon health, and you would have to, you know, either switch to a worse weapon, or not, just accept that your weapon is going to die, which is unfun. Ow. Always get me right there. We slowly descend. Okay. He's fine. I like the multicolored ninjas. I don't know why. Like, the blue ninja is cool. It's weird. I wouldn't expect to like it, but I do. It's a very simple but effective thing. There's one tall rainbow. No! Oh. Alright. Well, definitely can't go back that way. Have to do a second lap. I guess also for Switch, like, they've got emulators out, because it's not like a ridiculously powerful console, and most of its, like, components aren't terribly different from PC ones, compared to, like, earlier consoles, like, let's say PS2. No, but there's a mod to stop your weapon from breaking. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess it makes sense you'd be able to, like, stack mods for that. There's probably, like, a sensible way to do that, since it's probably developed in a much more conventional manner with files, separate files for separate things and whatnot. Do both data conversion and fun mods at the same time. Like, I learned you can stack Doom mods if you feel the need to, which I think is pretty cool. I think I want to jump here. Okay. Okay, I feel like that was entirely superfluous. Makes me wonder if one of those pipes is how I get to the transformer. Forgot that you can't grab that and let those balloons go away. I make poor decisions in ordering. Boink. Just realized my phone is over there. Not that it matters for this level. Mod to unlock the amiibo gated items? I'd have to assume there is. That strikes me as a fairly easy thing to figure out once, like, you've done some amount of reverse engineering work. Figure out where the amiibo stuff gets read. Convince it to feed it fake data. Just stub out wherever it's reading from the NFC, I think it is. I have to imagine it would be too difficult, but of course the proof is in the pudding. You actually have to do the reverse engineering work to know whether or not it's that difficult. I cannot hold on to a power-up in this level to save my life. I realize the irony in that statement. Slow balloon. Blue balloon. Apple fritter. Lemon loaf. There's a fun, oh no, oh no, oh no. My doom is slowly encroaching upon me. No, okay, it's fine. Fun YouTube video about Blue Balloon Cafe. And basically, everyone in there only says things that cause things to happen. Like the guy who says, Hawaiian shirt, that causes him to somehow acquire a newer, differenter Hawaiian shirt. And of course, Blue Balloon, the titular thing, summons a blue balloon. Yep, called it. Got our Transformer buddy. Just ordered amiibo cards yesterday. Lovely. Okay, so I'm gonna have to come back all this way anyway. That's where I died. Okay, cool. Found all the important stuff. Got both Dragon Coins. And got the Transformer. Now to do this perfectly on the way back, which shouldn't be that difficult. A thought occurs, if Cave Story has multiplayer, does it have support for Archipelago? Because I feel like once you get one of those things... I guess you'd have to integrate with the randomizer. Wouldn't surprise me if it's a randomizer for Cave Story, though. It's a Metroidvania-style game. It's pretty reasonable. I still love doing this. It's so silly. Would be cool. Alright, so yeah, that thing over there that set me on the bad path was totally just a red herring. Almost screwed that up. Okay, I do not need the midway. It's an actively wrong thing to get right now. Get the balloon. Cave Story and Archipelago. It just feels like the kind of natural thing to do if you've got that level of modability. I am, of course, not volunteering to do said work, or volunteering anyone else to do said work, so mileage may vary. It's one of those things I kind of expected would happen. Would not make too much sense, as Cave Story is extremely linear. Okay. I thought it was kind of Metroidvania style, where you got some options about where to go, but I must have been misrecollecting. I mean, the thing about it is even linear games can be kind of randomized by opening the world. Like all the Final Fantasies, right, that have randomizers or open world randomizers. And they do so by opening the world to you before you actually get access to all of those things in terms of what you should have from plot and all that. Metroidvania in the sense that Metroid Fusion is Metroidvania? Okay, fair enough. But it's still conceivable that if you change the order of gates and everything. Like, most of the gates in Metroid Fusion are plot-based, more than, like, acquiring a specific thing-based. You could swap them around. I'm pretty sure there's a Metroid Fusion randomizer out there somewhere. There we go. But someone would have to care to do it. Only area you have to revisit is Egg Corridor and Migma Village. There isn't? Huh? Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. You looked far and wide. How disappointing. The Stunty-Cons have nothing on these crazy Koopa carters. I'm glad she didn't go for the K there for the crazy. They won't hesitate to run you off the road. Or even worse, blow you to bits. I wonder what sprite that is. You can tell they're having a little bit of a harder problem with whatever's going on up there. They're bumper cars. These are bullies. Oh, that's even worse. They also explode. They're bullies that sometimes explode. I understand now. I understand now. I thought they were hilarious. And I still do. But now I find them also terrifying. Gotta stop doing that. Not only did it blow up, it also pushed me back. Alright. I'm betting this next part is an auto-scroller. I'm wrong. But I do need to be faster. No! Crap! Note to self, do not spin jump. Do not fly. Some backtracking. Bullies in my Mario Kart? More likely than you think. Their name is Jafar, they come from afar? Was that in the third Aladdin movie? That's the second one they phoned in. The third one was actually good if I remember right. What's sad is I was so close to collecting the last dragon coin in this area. Back the bullies. Don't know, did Jafar ever have a bomb in his car? I don't think they had cars in Agrabah, really. Could have had it in his cart, I guess, but it doesn't really rhyme. I believe I could fly. Alright, quick dragon coin. Recap. I just want to cancel. Cancel my flight. Actually, don't cancel my flight. I still need to get on it tomorrow. Soonish. Got a flight on Wednesday. Flying out of the better airport in Seattle, which is always a nice thing. Let's stop doing that. There's not even a reason to do that. I could just jump over him. Should be fun. Oh, I missed out on keeping my cape. Alright, well. Gotta be careful. Don't know why, but that reminds me of, like, I want to say it was a joke in Tiny Toon Adventures or Animaniacs, where they needed a far-off, exotic-sounding locale, and they went with a Carbamia. I want to say that in trouble for that. I've already beaten the level, so I can just start select. And well, that's going to be there. I don't know why I didn't bother. Okay, good. My appointed item and get out. Yeah, Carbamia. I mean, the Disney Channel... Well, no, not Disney Channel, but like this was the 1990s. They'd get stuff past the censors and stuff. Maybe it was DuckTales, I really don't remember. It was some cartoon. It's in suitably bad taste, but something that would easily go over the average child's head. A bit like the fingerprints joke. Cool, I got the blue shells, I can fly now! It occurs to me, I just understand why the level is named I Believe I Can Fly. You know, in addition to the fantastic rendition in Space Jam. Space Jam had a really good soundtrack, believe it or not. Good thing that didn't actually kill my ride. Socialist Democratic Federated Republic of Carbamia. Well, there you go. I guess we'll take what we get. Yeah, what cartoon was that? Yeah. Oh, it was in Transformers! Oh, that makes it even better, doesn't it? Even has jam in the title? I mean, the jam in the title more refers to, like, slammin' and jammin', NBA, jam, things like that, than necessarily songs, but it works. Yeah, Transformers, I completely spaced on that. Whew. Very appropriate for discussion of this hack. But yeah, something to completely go over kids' heads, because why would they know about? You know, that wasn't really the smartest way I could have done that. Wouldn't really know much about democratic, socialist democratic anything, let alone car bombs. They did a lot of that nonsense back in the 90s and the 80s. Kind of wonder if it was like a game for them sometimes, see what they could actually pull off. And then South Park came and kind of ruined the game for everybody. They didn't have to actually hide what they were trying to do. 400 people, 10,000 camels. Yep. That sounds about right. If I mess this one up again because of that, I'm finding new and innovative ways to die in this level. Yeah, I've never actually watched enough Transformers to know that. I must have heard it from Squiggles or something, or read it on some website. My brother had a Transformers lunchbox. No, G.I. Joe lunchbox. Similar thematic colors, different ideology, I suppose. Ooh. Mostly eating these guys to reduce lag. Or at least trying to. Okay, I need to remember which pipe I got into. Because I don't want to do it again. I'm probably going to do it again because I've already forgotten which pipe it was. It was after this. Oh, for Pete's sake. Which country has the most car bombings on record? Somalia? It wouldn't for 2020. You know, I honestly don't know, and I think I'd be a little bit happier off not knowing. There are certainly some ones I could make guesses about, but it's probably better not to speculate. It's an award you don't want, I can tell you that much. Tell you that much. Be a very unfortunate thing to win that. Okay, I need to stop messing up. Let's go over the top. We've already hit these. I believe it was the middle pipe here that I used to get to the secret area, so I'm fine on that front. So we'll go from here. We're in new territory now. I think. Alright, that's 4. No sign of a midway yet, so I might not have to do much more here other than avoid dying. Okay. Man, I love eating those things. It's very satisfying. It's very silly, but satisfying. Beautiful. Question box is running those Mario.exe game on DOS for some reason. How you doing, MJ? Yeah, there was no midway. You cannot complete level with Yoshi. Goodbye, Yoshi. You know, I don't think I've ever played, like, the old Mario game on DOS. I think I played a port of Mario Bros, the arcade game on DOS, but I don't think I ever played, like, a Mario Bros, any other sort of port. Oh yeah, I forgot to actually go to the mushroom house that I unlocked a minute ago. Ack! Bad Blitty. How do you know so much? I mean, do you know how much that cost? Well, there's a feather for you in the box, Mario. Alright. Oh, he knocked over a transformer. Some sort of, I think, robot cat. Blitty would be a good name for a robot cat, so it's probably okay. Post a link? Sure. Depending on what it is. Oh, okay, yeah. Feel free to post that then. Hey, no. Boing. I love the clouds. Alright, once I reach a stable spot, I'll take a quick look. It doesn't take me too long to learn for great good. It's a clone? Oh, wow! 94? Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, the sound there is not great. Yeah, it looks like these are ripped from Mario 3 if I had to make a guess. How bizarre. Yeah, it's really late to do that sort of thing for DOS. Most famously, I guess, in terms of, like, Mario and DOS. Their Commander Keen, the first one, started off as a port of Mario 3 to DOS. You know, with Carmack and Romero working on it. But Nintendo didn't want it, and so they decided to take the engine they made and convert it into what is now known as the Commander Keen series. Just the first one, though. The other ones came later. And I believe use a different engine. Used to wake up, morality, thinking about changes of taste. I believe it. Yeah, Mario 3, I definitely believe it, Dick Feynman. Yeah, it started off, basically found a way, Romero found a way to do, not Romero, Carmack. Carmack found a way to do really decent scrolling on EGA graphics cards. Maybe CGA. Well, I'll stick with EGA for the time being. And so they spent a couple days porting over the first couple levels of Mario 3 to show that they could do this in their new engine. And made a demo to show Nintendo. And Nintendo just wasn't interested, so they said, fuck it, we'll do our own thing. Yeah, okay, I need to die. It's new and you get some sleep? Yeah, fair. Definitely fair. Sleep well. Mario 3 Carmack demo. Just to pull that up in case you'd like to see it. Oh god, not him. There'll be someone who's not going to talk over it. Yeah, Vimeo by John Romero sounds like the right place to get to source this video. There it is. You can actually see it. It looks pretty good. It's not perfect. You know, PC speaker and all that. But it's not bad. But yeah, they did show it to Nintendo. That is a thing that happened. Of course, they didn't try to release it themselves. That would have been insane. Would have had trouble even with how, you know, pirate happy the PC universe, shareware universe was back then. They probably could have gotten away with it, actually. But I think with Commander Keen, they wanted to break off and do their own thing. That's when they started making their own software. Or distributing their own software. Because previously they were part of, I think, SoftDisk or something. There we go. Oh, it would have back then. Oh, this would suck to do without a cape. Ducking was not my best move. Crap. I hope this guy doesn't... Oh wait, I need to die anyway because I hit the midway flag. So it doesn't matter. Though it's nice to know I can easily stand right here and not die. Surprised how long that worked. Yeah, it would have been really cool to see back, you know, in 1992... 1991, I guess. I forget exactly what year they published the first Commander Keen. But it would have been really cool to see. Arcade ports, yeah. Oh, easily. And arcade ports were a lot easier to do. At least some of them were. Like, there were some actually really good arcade ports for DOS. Like, the Ninja Turtles arcade port was really good from what I remember. I played some of that back in the day. Like, one of those, I was surprised, legitimately surprised at how good it was. There we go. The Mario arcade port? Yeah, the, like, really old school one. The Mario Bros. We've got, you know, Luigi and Mario and the POW block in the middle of the screen, and gotta knock the crabs off and all that. Gotta hit the crabs twice and then punch them so they die, that kind of thing. Those are the ones I've definitely played. Other ones, I'm not sure. My Soul Cold Life. Oof. Aw, the star tree is nice. I like that. Oh boy, it's an ice level. It's beginning to look like an ice world. One on the Play Choice 10. I've played Mario 3 on a Play Choice 10, but the my local barcade got rid of its Play Choice 10 years ago, unfortunately. Short, but as shitposty quote as possible. I assume you want a pull quote for Hodgepodge? God, you put me on the spot. I'm trying to think. I want to say something about... Oh, thank you for the follow. Enjoy your... Now, those aren't really fish. I think it's more letters that say up, but it's close to fish. Close. Oh, man. I want to say something about the quality of grass. Like, it's the grass in this game is incredibly lush and thick. Clearly because we use the proper types of fertilizer and whatnot, but I can't come up with anything good. Nothing pithy is coming to mind. You'll do it? Alright, works for me. I just remember I was going to get credit as the lawn care specialist, and that's the only thing I can think of right now, even though it's kind of dumb. Level is so icy it cooled your room here in the hot in the Philippines. Oh, I bet it's hot there. Totally were. Forgot about that. Oh, yeah. Oh, I just did the loop. Very good at Mario. Oh, thank you. I'm not that great at it. There's definitely other players who massively surpass me. But I do what I can. I'm also moderating it, which means I'm doing some weird things you may not expect people to do when they're playing Mario. As I'm playing this, doing QA on this hack for SMW Central. I'm one of the moderators. There are many of us, at least 10 or so, but most of the other ones specialize on Kaizo stuff, and now it's time to die. Since I need to check if the midway works. 38 degrees? Oh man, that's hot. Thank you for reminding me, no problem. Do I like Pokemon? Yeah, I've played Pokemon in the past. I haven't played any of them. Oh, was there not a midway? Oh, I just wasted a bunch of time. That's what I get for not paying attention. Yeah, I've played Pokemon in the past. I think it's an interesting game. I've been wanting to play it on stream, but I wanted to do some, like, Twitch integration stuff, and while I got the initial environment set up for it, I never actually sat down and learned enough Z80 to do the amount of hacking I'd need to make it my idea work. Still think it's worth doing, but it's pretty low on my list of projects right now. I have a very long list of projects. That'll do. And there's the flag I missed. Yeah, I do watch a little bit of, like, modern Pokemon stuff. I've been keeping up with what Freezeye's doing. Some interesting stuff. I'm kind of hoping he'll get, his Pokemon Quest will work out. So he hasn't had much luck with the assorted regionals he's been going to. But it's one of those things where, like, since it's just points, if he goes to enough of them, he'll qualify. Which isn't quite the way he wants to qualify, I imagine. But it would work. Just, it's costly. It's kind of like that one gal who went to the Olympics, repping some, like, random country. She was an American, and just literally she got enough points by going to enough events that she qualified for the Olympics in downhill skiing of some sort. And you could literally hear the souls of the announcers leaving their bodies as they're trying to, like, be remotely excited about this woman who literally just pointed her skis downhill and went. And this was supposed to be, like, a ski, like, trick competition. So, love Pokemon. A lot of the games. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I haven't played as many. I own a bunch, but I haven't gotten through some of them. I think the most recent Pokemon I've beaten was regular old Pokemon Sun or Moon. Been meaning to get back into it, but just time. My little bro, though, he actually, a couple years ago, was it? Went and got himself a filled-out Pokedex. Since I happen to have, like, I have an extra 3DS he could use and had extra copies of games to help him move things around. I was pretty excited to get that. Because I guess you get, like, a charm that increases the odds of shinies or something. There's actually, like, a legitimate reason you want to catch all the Pokemon beyond Professor Oak saying, "Wow, you did it! Oh, 151 Pokemons! You're a Pokemon master." It took him a while, though. But when I say a while, I mean just constant playing for, like, a week or two. I don't think it was actually that difficult. Especially when you know what you're doing. Need to be careful here. Perfect. In there. Where's the flagpole song from? I actually don't know. I'd have to pay more attention next time we get to that spot, but I'll take a listen and think. Miss Ash not being in the anime series? I mean, I think he's only been... This is like the very first season he's not going to be there. Like, I haven't watched Pokemon without Ash, but I also kind of stopped watching Pokemon a great number of years ago. Oh. There's multiple exits in this level. I guess I wasn't paying attention. Alright, so cool. Yeah, I'll have to come back. Probably not the ideal routing. Mario Land 1. Thank you, Faro. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that song, like, outside of SMW. Or if I did, I wasn't paying that much attention. I think I played Mario Land, like, all of once on SGB. I don't think it was on stream. I played Mario Land 2 for a bit, because there was a ROM hack racist level that Dr. No made that was based on some concepts from Mario Land 2. And Max convinced me to give it a shot, since I happen to have the card around to do it. That was fun. That game was actually really good. Like, a lot of interesting concepts, and the physics were a lot nicer than... Oh, that was the wrong way to do that. Than Mario Land's, I think. Okay, cool. So now we got the midway. That's what we came here for. Now we just complete the level the standard flagpole way. Just completely didn't even notice that it was a red dot on the world map. Okay, I believe that was one of the pipes. So yeah, cool. We're done with this level. I like it. I like it, Faro. It works for me. I look forward to seeing this on SMW Central. Okay, those are not destructible blocks. It's a swooper. That's what it is. Oh, okay, that's what we're doing here. We're turning on the fireplace. Everything makes sense now. I was wondering how this level was going to work. Ah, can I make that? I can't make that. Some spooky blocks in there. Can't hear the song without hearing your bit-crushed crack voice. Yeah, I actually was using Crack's Cafe for some testing earlier. Because I wanted to test out whether or not I've made some changes to the overlay to try and prevent it from having the irritating the irritating scroll bar. And I needed to test it with a suitably long hack name and a suitably long set of authors. It's also good because I found a bug in my... Oh, I didn't think this one through, did I? I also found a bug in my... Oh, that's something worth noting. Okay, the coins disappear here if you collect them, and they don't come back when you go through the door, which means you can't actually beat this level if you fuck that up, but it's not a big deal. Anyway, long list of authors, long hack name, to make sure that it was working properly. And it works okay, it still cuts off the chat a bit at the bottom. There's some mechanism I don't understand yet for how you HTML it correctly to, like, fill the space that's available. Because right now I'm, like, doing all of my HTML stuff in static pixels, which is not how you're supposed to do it, but I'm not good at this HTML thing. But Cracked Cafe was a good test thing, because there was, like, 4 people working on it. Some with longer names than others. And, of course, it's also a long hack name, just like this one. It's a fun hack, though. Highly would recommend it. Still would I mean, I played through it twice. That's saying something. I can't think of too many other hacks that I've played through twice that weren't by the Jump team. Or by Valdio. Okay, my brilliant plan wasn't so brilliant. Good enough. I'm trying to think, like, what hack would I play again? Maybe Climb the Tower. I really enjoyed Climb the Tower, minus that one level, the falling level. The falling level was not fun. But that's kind of a fault of how that entire hack was conceived. It's a very vanilla hack. And, you kind of need a camera thing to make a falling... You need a camera patch to really, oh god, make falling levels work properly. Why did I think I could jump on the Boo? That was just a terrible idea. Bonk. But replaying that is not in the cards today. Maybe soon. Once I get caught up on everything else. Okay, cool. I got all 5. I have not seen a midway flag. I don't think I care. I think this is a level we can just leave. Like, I went through all the doors that were available to me. I guess there's one door I want to see what it does, but it doesn't really matter. Alright, we'll check that. We'll try to check that one door. And then Zuccotti can make fun of me again for failing to get into the difficult to get into door. In the event that that happens. But other than that, this level's done. At least it's close by. Oh, man. Yeah. Kind of wish I'd actually gone and played the Ram Hack Races level yesterday. It looked fun and short, which is not a combo that happens too often in Ram Hack Races. Oh, fun, yes. Short, sometimes not. Yeah, you can't get in that. Would have worked well as a transition into the weird adventure game I played, but I was doing laundry and the dryer is too loud for me to stream with, unfortunately. Didn't even look at the level name, I really should. Okay, these do not hurt the other ones. Can I spin jump? Yes. And the Piranha Plant ASM begins. Are these like red ones? And I see the Hammer Bro back over there. The Ice Bro is one of my least favorite things to see, because you never know what he's gonna do. Will he freeze you? Will he hurt you? Will he do both? Never know till you get hit. I don't mean hit once so you know what it does. I mean you never know until you actually get hit. It is an unpredictable type of sprite. Guys, leave me alone for a sec. There we go. Still happy with that adventure game. That was fun. It was so silly. Like, legit, I was surprised at how silly it ended up being, because I didn't expect it to just go completely off the rails with ancient alien kind of bullshit. Why does this one have coins? I just noticed the coin symbol on this one, too. It's not consistent. What if it had it before I started the level? This is not the place to get a power-up, is what I'm quickly learning. Okay. Because it's an ice level, I need fire flowers. And so I shall acquire some. It's been a while since I've duped that well. Do note that there's 2 exits. And I can destroy these guys with that. Oh, thank goodness. Bonk. So satisfying. We did all these. That is another power-up. Not one I need right now, but never hurts to stock up. And then the entire reason I'm here with the power-up is so I can do these. I see. This might not work. Okay. Well, if I can find a Koopa, we'll bring one back there and use it instead. Alright, gotta find a key somewhere. That's probably where you get the key now that I look at it. That's really annoying, actually. Alright, well, let's get the dragon coins while we think about the best way to handle this one. I think the answer is come in with a fire flower, lose the fire flower, and then grab the object, the Flurry-Ous, I think they're called, so that I can hit the block, because I'm not seeing a lot of Koopa action. Just notice this level's not remotely slippery, which is what I was expecting there. Not going to let that one live. Alright. We are doing the genocide route for this one. Cool. That is all of the dragon coins. Now we can test the midway. And then we'll have to come back. You know, good odds I'll finish this with the fire flower. That'll work. I need 1. Okay, grab that. And just finish the short level. I'm just gonna run past them. More of a neutral route this time. Much better. Man. Okay, fortress. Let's find out where the secret takes us. Okay, just to make sure I don't mess it up, I definitely want to have the... Oh wait, no, this isn't where the second one is. The power-up's further on. Okay, so grab this just in case. See? That's why we get a second one. I don't want to kill these ones, but I do want to free these. And I think I want to kill this one. I'm fine killing the other one too. Okay, cool. Now to get hit. So I can grab one of these. My otherwise brilliant plan, foiled only by my own actions. Okay, there's the key. And that's a coin. Screen is evolving. Is that another one? Say no to Kaizo. It's getting better by the moment, honestly. Those are all ringing endorsements. absolutely ringing endorsements. Okay, cool. That's just a cut in the graph entirely. Donut turnaround. Alright. Where do I want to go now? Birdo sisters? Alright, let's hop up on the upper side first. Slippery, and of course, with this penguin. Not sure about these penguins. Not sure at all. Well, 4 more Transformers to find. Regardless of how many are left, we're going back and learning about, I guess, probably most of them. So I'll probably have forgotten which ones I collected before. Maybe we'll do that once I get all of them. We'll have to learn. How'd I kill that other one if the shell was still intact? Wasn't that last part sounds a bit like the song We Do from The Simpsons? You know, who keeps the metric system down? We do. We do. It's a very strange song. Full of interesting conspiracies. Yeah, I think I was right to bring the star out for that. Oh, this will be easy then. Oh, man. Okay. I have some time this next week to work on some random projects, to figure out where I'm going to allocate my time. No, it may just end up being more work. Going to San Francisco for a bit. On Wednesday, be back Monday. Should be a fun little trip. I'm flying out of the best airport in Seattle. The northern airport is so much better. I even calculated out like how expensive it would be to get a ride up there, or to SeaTac and back, and I'm like, I could just park my car at the airport and it would be about as expensive. So I'm going to. Alright, what do we got here? If you see a snowman without arms or hat, be careful. Some of them have been known to throw themselves at people. Without arms? Or a hat, okay. Well, he has arms and a hat. He has arms and a hat. Ah, I see. They're those types of Pokey. I swear, I never used to see Pokey that threw himself at people before Trick Brookle, and now I'm seeing him in a lot more places. Oh, sweet! Porsche! I now have a ride. Unfortunately, it also makes the weird Pokeys taller. Like, the one downside of Yoshi makes the weird Pokeys taller. Okay, nothing there, nothing there. Good to see you against taking a stance against Kaizo. I mean, that's not what my quote said specifically. That was someone else's pull quote. Mine was, the quality of this grass is luscious and thick. Kaizo's overrated. Baldur's Gate 2 is better. Both things I gotta do. How you doing, Max? How you doing, Fries? Both things I gotta get done. Got my Transformer, though. Okay, that's good. I've actually gotten something that in the mail that will improve the PC gaming experience mildly for the Squiggle Box, make my life a little bit easier. And there goes my Yoshi, because I'm dumb. I'm already sad about that. Also, I suspect, since I think this level has 2 exits, I probably needed Yoshi for one of them. Ow. Right, you can't jump on those. Ah, boy. Oh, hello. Is a secret exit, but you must have Fire Flower, not Yoshi. Huh. How odd. That was not what I was expecting. And that's where I entered the pipe. Pretty sure. Yes. Okay, cool. Been taking some time on this one. Need to die anyway. Actually, I'll die on the second lap. There's no reason to do it on the first lap this time, because the secret exit is after the midway. So I'll save a little bit of time by doing this way. Not a lot of time, but a little. It's not much of a shortcut. Not much of a shortcut. Got my Yoshi buddy. Fortunately, he can't interact with the evil moles. Which is unfortunate. I'll snatch that right out of the air. Tasty, tasty snowman. Huh. They must have spawned in that, like, small interval I wasn't on the Yoshi. Okay. Actually, that doesn't matter. I need to die anyway. Bye, Yoshi. Okay, gotta get my Fire Flower. Just need to hold on to it for some number of pipes. While Pokey tries to throw his body at me. Which is still weird. And I guess actually just right here. Yeah, that worked. Wouldn't say it saved time, but it worked. Alright. Back through. There we go. Secret exit check. What am I doing on exit numbers? 80. Okay. Brr. Now I know how Skyfire felt for millions of years. I got a Fire Flower in that box. Should warm up things around here. Would have been handy for the last level, but you know what? I'll take it. Okay. Birdo Fortress, Sister Fortress. Definitely seems like a good level to go for. Since we have so many options, bizarrely enough. Alright, you need to use the Fire Flower because of how the system works. One must be careful. Because otherwise you get downgraded things if you get hit beforehand. Which sucks. Alright, cool. What time is it actually? It's 3 and change. Alright, cool. Coming up with a plan. I want to execute upon. Oh, come on! And it does that. Hits you and locks you in the air. First time I got hit this time. By the most irritating class of enemy in this game. Ooh, these types of flames. These are fun. After the Frost Flame Galaxy. A much better name than the Burny Cold Galaxy. Explicitly what I was trying not to do there, but here we are. Now we wait. Only we could cook the shell. Wow, my nose is itching. And I should have gone on that cycle. Nose itch had to take priority, though. Very reminiscent of the Icy Castle in Mario 3. It is literally all about... Oh, I can do that easier from this side. And so I will. Collect the extra power-up just in case. Alright, cool. Now I just need to die. Probably should use the intro period for that better. Alright. See, I'm thinking I'm probably not going to finish this tonight. There's just enough exits left. Plus or minus, you know, difficulty tends to increase as time goes on in these games. Not that I expect the final areas to be all that difficult. It is still a Gamma V standard normal hack. But it is encroaching upon 4 AM. Checked that midway, now I need to check this midway. Something a couple more levels, and then call it, and then I'll do the rest tomorrow. Like, I want to get this out the door by Wednesday, because I'm going to be out for a bit. Off in San Francisco visiting some family and doing some work. I might even go to the office. Who knows? Okay. I see the gimmick. Yeah. It's amazing how powerful ducking is. Egg convergence is irritating in this. Trying to decide, you know what, actually, screw her. I'm gonna go get the eggs off her, off the other Birdo. Would it be appropriate to say your sister's hotter here? Probably not. Oh, no, no. Dumb way to get hit. Yeah, the difficulty of Birdo is almost entirely dependent upon the arena the Birdo is in. I enjoyed it, and that's why I said it. Alright, we did it. I feel so accomplished. Alright. Cold cuts. Luigi? Eh? Oh, okay, they're just static objects that hurt you. They're not really saws. That's really a saw, though. How very strange. I still love how the Smash Brothers announcer is like, Luigi? As if I'm confused at your choice of Luigi. Why did you do that? He's a perfectly cromulent choice, but still. The narrator, or announcer, just doesn't really care much for him. Keep expecting something weird to happen with these saws, but they're just solid hurt blocks. Yeah, nope, just sort of throwing the shell at it. I had to send one more before. Wow, and I get no quotes a lot. I like it. I like it. It's got strong, I spent all this time testing this hack, and I didn't even get a fucking t-shirt. Energy. I look forward to seeing this on some other person's stream soon. Like, I wonder if pick up and play it, like, right after it gets released. Oh, right, I want the shell. Okay, that doesn't work. Alright, just had to time it better, I guess. Kicked shells work, tossed shells do not. Katoon, more than likely. Every other time you're in his stream, he asks about Destiny's Path. Oh, okay, that's nice of him. I mean, he is running out of other Kaizo to play, so he was probably looking forward to something that was that high quality compared to the stuff he was presently working through, which was like things from the reject pile, if I recall correctly. But I haven't watched him stream in forever. He changed his schedule around, and haven't been awake much when he's been streaming. Got the Transformer. Most important object in this game. Cool, now I can die. Alright, that part was actually pretty easy, so we should be able to breeze through it. Things from the reject pile and other unreleased Japanese hacks. Yeah. I'm not saying he's scraping the bottom of the barrel, but he kind of is. How you doing, Tofile? But you know, respect for the journey. The man is set out to do every Kaizo. And I'm dead. Absolutely scraping the bottom and he knows it, yeah. I wonder if he's played like any of Tomato Johnson's levels that were, you know, disqualified from non-Kaizo contests. Since they usually have pretty Kaizo spirit to them. Like the one for WLDC definitely had Kaizo spirit. Don't know if his, the one he did for this most recent CLDC has Kaizo spirit, but it probably does. Yep, okay. Oh my. Oh my. Yeah, I cannot believe how many times he has submitted things that have gotten disqualified. And of course now it's not that they're getting disqualified because he made Kaizo levels for random other level design contests. No, he's disqualified because he was banned completely and should not be re-registering to submit his shitposts. Bottom of the barrel, which consists of mid-air hacks, cape hacks, and not intended RTA old schoolers, which are viable. I mean, back in the day, no one really thought that an awful lot of stuff that turned out to be RTA viable was. You know, people thought Kaizo 1 wasn't. Everyone... Oh, hey, Soul Blazer music. Dang it. Like, everyone thought that Kaizo 1 was the hardest thing ever, and it really wasn't. Like, you don't need save states to beat that, even with not being a great player. Just takes time and effort. So, but the Japanese ones, that's a fair point. Oh, hello. Should have been ready for that, but I definitely wasn't. I think I might have missed one. It's not a good sign. Like, this is a standardish level. Oh, maybe not. Mistakes were made. Doing Kaizo RTAs on the start and mid 2010s, yeah. I'm just thinking back to like the Proton John era of Let's Plays that people used to do. And basically nobody was beating Kaizo levels without save states. Some were using more save states than others. But no one was beating them without save states at that point in time. But that era is long behind us now, so... Shoot. On SA at the time of Let's Play? Oh yeah. It was the place to be for that sort of thing. Back then. Every once in a while, I'll go and look at the old Retsupre for the, some kid playing Kaizo 1. But he's constantly using save states, but he also doesn't realize there's a save state load button and a save state save button. And so he always opens the SNES 9X save state menu every single time. And he's taking save states like every, 3 real-time seconds, anytime he makes any sort of progress. And so one of the guys was reading On Liberty by John Stuart Mill, but would interrupt himself every time the menu came up by saying SNES 9X. And it was fantastic. I still like that one. Okay, Gotta go back and get the Dragon Coins. And more Soul Blazer music is never a bad thing. I have definitely got to replay Soul Blazer before tackling Illusion of Gaia. Because I just want to. Soul Blazer is one of those games I borrowed from one of my cousins back in the day for SNES. And just found very entertaining to play. I mean, it's basically like Zelda, but different. Very different. Had a lot of fun, too. Would recommend. Did commentary with Slow Beef and Diabetes on some of Slow Beef's Metroid Prime ones? Oh man, that's pretty cool. One of those, like, very small world moments. Soul Blazer is an odd game? It's an interesting adjective to choose. I'm curious, why would you say it's an odd game? I hate that one. Like, you certainly have to spend some time and take some notes if you don't know what you're doing. Especially if you want to, like, 100% it, which requires getting all of the hidden whatevers, MacGuffins. I forgot what they're... Seals, I think? Feels odd. It's a Quinette game. Good way to describe it. I'll be curious to see how it compares to Gaia, then. Because I always liked Soul Blazer. But it was the one I played first, so... In terms of other games in that, like, genre, the first one I ever played was, it was called Story of Thor or something. It was a DOS game that I think I did try to play on stream once, or at least a demo of it on stream once, but I had the problem of it causing the sound card to crash horribly. And that was bad. After that stream, I actually set up some, like, sound guards on that capture device so that doesn't happen in the future. But still, it was bad. Something one I want to reapproach. They'll have to come up with a better way of actually getting it to load, I suppose. Or it's possible the version on that that disc was busted. Not an uncommon thing for shareware things. Where the specific instance was some sort of corrupt download from a BBS elsewhere. Like, that's just something that happens with shareware all the time. I just want to see a Dragon Coin location first, and then I'll go to the next level. And bounce on one of those, because I want to bounce on one of those. Also get some power-ups, because it doesn't really hurt. Or one power-up. Alright, cool. Still surprised someone apparently tracked down the Quinette rights holder since the president, like, dropped straight off the planet of the Earth? Really? Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that kind of... Those games feel like the kind of thing you'd get, like, a re-release of by now. Given Square has been milking, you know, other Final Fantasy things and pixel remasters recently. I could see someone, you know, putting Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, and Terranigma, wrap it up with a licensed emulator, maybe do an HD pack thing, and calling it a day. Something I could see someone doing, and making, like, not a lot of money, but, like, probably enough to justify the work. One of those, like, long-term sales sorts of things. Oh, donut. And oh, slow auto-scrollers. I guess in a stage like this, slow auto-scroller with donuts would be an auto-crawler. But mostly I just want a donut. I can't believe that didn't hit me. Okay, good. A pipe does not exist. Okay. Oh, no. Okay, that worked out. Thank you, Cape, for ameliorating my bad decisions. Okay, no midway, so if I get all the coins here, I'm just gonna call it. No reason not to. Same dev that did ActRaiser, and they done that with ActRaiser? Okay. I think ActRaiser was probably the higher profile game, though. But that's not saying a whole lot. Love to see all 3 games in a pack. Yeah, it seems like a good idea. Like, that seems like it wouldn't cost them too much. Like, I know ActRaiser had, like, a real proper remaster, if I recall correctly. I think I watched someone play a little bit of it. Maybe Illustrious? Maybe? But I wasn't, like, paying a lot of attention. Because that's the first thing I want to do is lose my cape. Yeah, there was a Dragon Point up here. We're done. Set up redid and expanded ActRaiser. Yeah. Definitely more work than an awful lot of other options when it comes to remastering and re-releasing things. Yeah. Actually, you know what? It's almost 4. It's almost 4. I think I need to call it here. Made a lot of progress. I'm up to, what, 80, 84 exits? That's enough exits for today. I'll come back tomorrow and finish this up.